Alright, what's going on everybody? This is Z Street 3 here, back to a brand new video. Now covering week 13 of college football scoreboard. We had some huge games, some huge upsets that have put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. And even more teams' chances to make the playoffs. Since there's some big games, huge implications. We're now reaping the implications. Over here, Heather, whatever her last name is, biggest takeaways from college football playoff reveal. Not too sure why we care about a women's opinion about football, but no wonder ESPN's ratings are down. That sexism aside, let's get into the scores. UNLV 9-2, great game. Remember UNLV had the quarterback issues, but it seems they're still doing pretty good. They're in the Mountain West, so they might be playing Boise State for the conference championship. They won, beat San Jose State 27-16. Team Texas playing Kentucky. Kentucky known for its defense, known despite being 1-7 in the SEC, known to take many teams down to the wire. They beat their one win is against Ole Miss, and they almost beat Georgia. So it's SEC. It's no teams to be trifled with. And this was not very close. Texas had that big second quarter. They win 31-14. Quinn Ewers only 191 yards passing. But if you look at the rushing yards, it was a doozy. Let's go to the box score. Quintavious Wisner, the now second string with CJ Baxter's injury, had 158 yards. Jadon Blue had 96. Team total of 251, which is insane. Not almost 300, but Kentucky only had 21, which is insane. Because again, they are the best statistically. They are the best defense in the nation, which is really funny that we used to have a decent offense, but it was our defense that always struggled, and now we have the best defense in the nation, and now it's our offense that's struggling because. But hey, big win, Texas. A game of destiny next week that we will discuss later. Ole Miss at Florida, they get upset. Jackson Dart had a very suspect interception, some very suspect plays. Ole Miss falls. Florida, who are playing very well right now, they are now bowl eligible at 6-5. They are a good team. Again, put them in any other conference, ACC, they're winning out. DJ Lagway is a great quarterback. When he's in, they can beat anyone. Ole Miss falls to 8-3, 4-3. Their shots at both the SEC championship game and the college football playoffs are null and void. So after that big upset win against Georgia, they fall flat on their faces. Probably get a decent bowl game, but their chance of anything champion related is gone. Indiana and Ohio State. Now, Indiana looked very good in that first quarter. Their very first drive, 70 yards. They were dicing them up, and then it was from then on all Ohio State. Runs them over, as they say, 38-50. This game was not really that close. Indiana was turnover prone. Mistake prone. It was very loud, and they, as the coach said, they could not handle the noise. Indiana, their first game by many people against a good team, and they lose. So people are suspect of this team's legitimacy. But hey, they're still 10-1 and 7-1 in the Big Ten. So they'll probably make the playoffs. Penn State almost loses to Minnesota. Crazy game at the end. I really wish Minnesota would have pulled this upset because that would have meant Penn State was probably out of the playoffs because they do not deserve to be in the playoffs, period. But they survive on the hair of their chin chin chin. They'll have one more game next week. Let's see who they play on the last week. They will play Maryland. That should definitely be a victory. And they are second in the Big Ten. What? Wouldn't Ohio State be second? Oh, they're tied. Okay, so they're tied. Ohio State wins the tiebreaker. Gotcha. Penn State will probably only have one loss the entire year. Will get in the playoffs and get thrashed by whoever they play. But it's what it is. Army, Notre Dame. Everyone was hoping Army would win, undefeated, take out Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame probably wouldn't be in the playoff. But not even was that not the case. Notre Dame blows them out. 49-14 was not anywhere close. Notre Dame, since that loss, has been blowing out a lot of people. However, again, their one loss is to a team that's not even 500, not even the top of their conference, which is a very small conference. Again, Notre Dame probably get in, just like Penn State will get in, and we'll get thrashed, and we'll prove again why they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But hey, whatever. And here is the big upset of the week. Alabama goes down, gets blown out by Oklahoma, who is now also bowl eligible. Jalen Milroe has 3 interceptions, and just like I predicted, there would come a day where Jalen Milroe has a bad game, and he does not get off to a hot start, and he becomes turnover prone, and it has happened. Milroe, honestly, is not really that good of a quarterback. He's a great mobile threat. Honestly, people talk about Lamar Jackson, how when he got drafted, like, oh, he's not a quarterback, he's a running back. That should be reserved for Milroe. This guy is not a quarterback. Does not make good decisions. Does not have good pocket presence. Does not have the best of an arm. Is not a good quarterback, but boy can he run. And again, when you're not putting a good passer as a quarterback, you're prone to have a really bad game. And here it is, in the worst time possible. Alabama gets upset by Oklahoma, 24-3. Alabama gets shut out after the first quarter. They did not score a single touchdown. Quarterback for Jackson Arnold had 131 rushing yards. I think there was a pick 6 or 2 maybe. And Alabama is now 8-3, 4-3 in the SEC. This is the under Nick Saban for 16 seasons. They had 1 loss to a non-top 25 team. This year they already have 2. They are now 8-3. They are out of the SEC race and out of the playoff. Well, they're not out. A lot of people are thinking they might stay in for some reason at 8-3, but then it's also pissing off a lot of people because they don't want them. They deserve to be in because they're 8-3 and they've lost to 2 non-top 25 teams. But heartbreaking loss for Alabama. I know their fan base is probably livid, but I really don't think it's the coach's fault. I think it's their quarterback fault. Milroe is such a good athlete that he's in there, but he's not a quarterback. I think they'll be better next year with a better quarterback. I'm gonna be real with you. He has no shot making the NFL, in my opinion. Maybe Canadian League. I don't know. Wake Forest and Miami. Miami 22 points in that fourth quarter. It was 20-14. It was close. And then boom, come out of nowhere. Like they normally do. They normally come alive in the second half. And they win 42-14. They also only 1 loss. Gonna be big for them in the ACC. Georgia gives up 22 points to Massachusetts, but still wins 59-21. Bit sus. Tennessee playing UTEP. It must be nice to play a no-name team this late in the season. They win 56-0. Boise State survives Wyoming. They win by the hair on the chin, 17-13. Ashton Genty had 161 yards, including 1 touchdown, including a 61-yard touchdown. I watched the replay. It was insane. SMU versus Virginia, another blowout win. This SMU team is scary, dangerous. Look out. They win 3-7 against Virginia, who has had not so great of a year. BYU goes down again. 2 weeks in a row, BYU has lost, this time to Arizona State, who is now 9-2 and very much control their own destiny and very much could make the college football playoff and win the Big 12 in their very first year. Pretty awesome. A&M also goes down in the 4th overtime. Auburn wins. A&M falls to 8-3 and 5-2. They now must beat Texas to get in the conference championship, and if they don't, they're out. So a big game for them. These 2 teams you can see here, the what's it called? Storming the Field, both had some issues with this. A lot of people are talking about it, but hey, don't care. I think it's cool. Colorado also goes down. Well, 6-2 in the Big 12. Kansas 5-6 now. Really cool thing about this: Kansas is now the first team in college football history to be an under 500 team to beat 3 top 25 teams in a row. Let's go ahead and look at Kansas' schedule. As we can see here, for these 3 big wins, they were what? Wow. They were 2-6. 17 Iowa State, 6 BYU, 16 Colorado. What a turnaround for them. And hey, if they win 1 more game, they could be a bowl eligible, and that would be a great turnaround after what was a disastrous season. They are now within distance of a bowl game. And Colorado, huge loss for them. They're 8-3. If they get in the Big Ten 12 championship game, I don't know. We'll look at it in a bit, but their playoff hopes, and a lot of people were hoping they get in the playoffs, but their playoff hopes are probably gone. Shedeur Sanders shoves an official. Who knows what's going to go happen with that? Clemson plays the Citadel again, a no-name team this late in the season. Whatever. They win 51-14. No shock there. South Carolina now 18 in the nation. Very, very good team. They play Wofford, another no-name team. 56-12. Great game. Iowa State survives Utah, who has had a very disappointing season. Iowa State wins 31-28. That is a big game for them to win. They want to make the Big 12 championship game. Missouri played Mississippi State, who is now 0-7 and not won a single SEC game. I think their last game of the year is probably Ole Miss. Yes, it is. That would be really funny if they got their first win against their heated rival. And I can probably guarantee you there will be a couple of fistfights because that game always ends in some fistfights, even if they both suck. Always happens. But Missouri, it's a big win. Not really a big win, but it's a nice win after their struggles this season. And Illinois beats Rutgers 38-20, 38-30, 38-31. Jeez. They had a promising year. I think 8-3 is really good for them. And yeah, hopefully build on the success for them in the future. Let's go first into the stats real quick. Kyle McCord now at number 1, passing yard leader. Great quarterback. Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Sanders back in the top 5. We haven't seen him in the top 5 in a while, but he's back up there. Funny how all these leaders have all had, besides Cam Ward, have had disappointing seasons. I would say it's not Colorado, because again they only projected to win 5 games, but definitely Dart, definitely. Well, Missouri, I don't know. Syracuse is not that bad, but Dart definitely has had a disappointing season. Look at this. Look at this gap. Has already hit 2,000 yards. They've got a couple. They've got 1, 2, maybe 3 games left to play if they make the college football playoff. Already get 2,000 yards. Look at this gap. It's almost 600 between him and number 2. That is unbelievably insane. People are the Heisman debate is between him and where is it? Odds. Do we have awards? Let's look at awards quick. Okay, we don't. Whatever. But it's him and Travis Hunter 1 and 2 respectively. I personally think that it even shouldn't be. I don't even think Travis Hunter should be number 2. I think it should be Cam Ward or maybe Dylan Gabriel. I think they both should be above him, but I think that it is far and away Gentry's uh, award to win for sure. So we go into next week and see what we got. Looking at Memphis and Tulane. Tulane 7-0 in the American. Their only 2 losses are to Power 5 teams, so they're a really good team. Memphis is 9-2. It's 9-2 as well, not a bad team. I do predict Tulane will win this game. Actually, pretty easily. Actually, we didn't do the standings. Hold up. Let's look at the standings real quick first. Not standings, excuse me. Boom. Here we go. Oregon and Ohio State staying at top 2. Texas at 3. Penn State at 4. No movement in the top 4. Notre Dame is now up to 5 in the nation. Miami's at 6. Georgia moves up 3 to 7. Tennessee 8. SMU 9. All the way up to 9. Good for them. Indiana drops 5 to number 10. Boise State at 11 and Clemson at 12. So that's the quote unquote 2 teams in the playoff. Alabama drops 6 points all the way down to 13. Ole Miss drops 5 to 14. We got South Carolina at 15. Arizona State at 16. Again, control their own destiny. Tulane at 17. Iowa State at 18. BYU drops 5 to 19. Texas A&M drops 5 to 20. Missouri is at 2 at 21. UNLV is at 22. Illinois at 23. Kansas State back in top 25 rankings at 25. And Colorado drops 9 spots just within top 25. At number 25, and Army drops out after being blown out. Now let's go to the standings real quick before we go to the next week's matchup. Let's go to the ACC. SMU is in, regardless. Well, I don't know. They could lose. I think SMU will go in undefeated, and then Excuse me. I don't know who gets in between these two guys. Who they play? Miami plays. If they play each other, it'd be easy. They play Syracuse. That could be an upset waiting to happen right there. However, Common Core is very turnover prone. Clemson plays South Carolina. I predict South Carolina whips Clemson. And so I think it'll be SMU and Miami in the conference championship. And I think SMU will upset Miami, and they will go to the college football playoff. And Miami might be out, and SMU might be the lone ACC team to make it. Miami could maybe make it as a two-loss team. Never know. Let's go to the. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. Tulane and Army. Whoever wins this game. Here's the thing: if Tulane wins, conference they might have a chance to get in. But I don't think Army has a chance to get in, even if they win the conference. Big 12. Look at this at the top: 6-2. Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, Colorado. Arizona State. I'm assuming they'll play their rival Arizona. They will. That should be a win. Arizona's had a very rough year. BYU will probably play Utah. Iowa State, Colorado. All these two teams are 6-2. So who gets in? Colorado has. Who has they beaten? Okay, so they've lost to Kansas State, so that doesn't really matter. BYU has lost to Arizona State, but they win the tiebreaker over. So they lost to Arizona State. So Arizona State, I think, is in. If they win out and they're in. Iowa State, who they played. Playing Kansas State. That's a big game. So who's going to get in? I really don't know. Of all these teams, who gets in or who doesn't get in. Big Ten. Gonna be Ohio State plays Michigan. Should be a blowout. It's gonna be Oregon and Ohio State. We'll play again. If Ohio State wins, Big Ten, Oregon will still be in. If Oregon wins and Ohio State has 2 losses, they still should be in. Period. So you see who we got. Texas, Georgia at top 2. Texas takes care of business and goes into A&M and wins. They're in, and then it'll be them and Georgia. If they lose, who they've lost to? They've lost to Georgia. That'd be their second loss, but will they still get in over Tennessee? Perhaps. Not too sure. Gonna be a tough matchup. Let's just go into the schedule, see what we got cooking for next week. Excuse me, the scores. Again, discussed Memphis, Tulane, South Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Probably gonna be a brawl. Oregon State at Boise State. Hey, Oregon State used to be a Power 5 team, so you never know. That's gonna be a tough game for Boise State, but I think they're gonna do it and pull it out. I really hope they do. I'd love to see them in the college football playoff because if they lose that game, they might not get in. Oklahoma State and Colorado should be a win. Oklahoma State has had a very sad year. It'll be a big big bounce back game for Colorado, and might still keep them in the Big Ten championship game. Georgia Tech and Georgia should be a blowout. Here's the big game of the week: Texas and Texas A&M, the first time in however many years. A long time. 11 years maybe. And it's big because it depends on who's gonna go to the SEC championship and then maybe get into the college football playoffs. Big game for Texas. They're going into a very rowdy Kyle Field, but I think Texas will take care of business and win the game. Am I recording? I am. Okay. Whew. The big game, Michigan and Ohio State. Now, the years past has been a really big game, a really high key matchup, but this year Michigan sucks. I think Ohio State will finally get their revenge after losing 3 years in a row and will beat the crap out of Michigan by at least 30 points. They're already favored by 21. So Tennessee and Vanderbilt now goes. Vanderbilt has beaten Alabama, so they could beat anyone. But I think that was a bit of a fluke. They've had a bit of a fluke year. I think Tennessee handled business and beats them pretty easily. South Carolina, Clemson. I'm pulling for South Carolina to pull up the upset. Clemson is not a good team. Does not deserve to be in the 12 football playoff period, and proves that the ACC is a very weak conference and the SEC is a dominant conference in the land. Illinois Northwestern should be a win for Illinois. Maryland and Penn State. Again, I'm really hoping that Maryland pulls off the upset. I just don't think Penn State deserves to be in the college football playoff. Notre Dame and USC. USC 6-5, bowl eligible. Could be a victory. I would like to see USC pull off an upset. They have had a disappointing season. It would be a great way to end the year on an upset of Notre Dame. Miami and Syracuse, again, would be huge for Syracuse to pull off this upset. Hope they do. That'd be pretty cool to see. Carolina, California, not Carolina, and SMU should be a pretty easy win for SMU. They are a very good team. Very, very good. Auburn and Alabama. One of the most heated another heated rivalry game. Alabama is on its last legs this year. They've had a very disappointing year. 2 losses to non-top 25 teams. Can they make it 3? Can Auburn pull off the upset? Last year they almost beat him. They should have beat him on that crazy play. I don't know what the hell that was. You remember that play, but this could go either way. Um, it is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, so it will be a home game for Alabama, not Auburn. But you know what? I'm pulling Auburn upset. Arizona State and Arizona. I think Arizona State won this one pretty easily. They are a really good team. Arkansas and Missouri. This is going to be a good game. You know what? I'm picking Arkansas here for the upset over Missouri. I am. A lot of friends in Arkansas used to live there, so I'm sure they'll be excited to hear me pull for Arkansas in that game. Purdue and Indiana. Purdue, no losses in the Big Ten. What a crazy upset that would be. Could be possible. Purdue, even when they suck, have always somehow managed to get one win. Probably not this year. I think Indiana wins convincingly. Washington and Oregon. Washington has definitely had a very disappointing year after going to the championship game last year, losing their coach. He left to Alabama. Never know. It is in Eugene, Oregon, but you never know. But again, I think Oregon wins the game. Kansas State and Iowa State. I honestly don't know who wins the game. I'm gonna go with Kansas State. They've had a disappointing year. They're 8-3. They're out of the Big 12 championship game, but I think they make a statement and beat Iowa State. Nevada and UNLV. UNLV probably wins. Houston and BYU. BYU probably wins. So that is it for next week. Some big, awesome games, rivalry games coming your way. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe for more content. As always, this is E3 signing out. Stay frosty.